Rust is arguably one of the most difficult games to get started in. You spawn alone, on a beach, with nothing but a rock and torch, and somehow you're supposed to progress. To many new players, the task of progressing from a rock to a base or a gun may be extremely challenging. For that reason, I want to create this guide to help out newer players move up in Rust. Similar to my other Rust guides, this video is divided into 4 different segments, and you can find the timestamps for each section in the description down below or on the screen now. Finally, if you find yourself enjoying or learning something from this video, please consider leaving a like, since it really helps out the channel and the editors will finally get paid. Alright, now that all of that is out of the way, let's get onto the video. The very first thing you want to do when you spawn into a server is to figure out where you want to build your base. I went over this important part of the game in my Where to Build Your Rust Base video, which you can find in the top right corner now. My general rule is to be close to a safe zone, a green card monument, and a blue card monument. Once you do that, you want to leave Spawn Beach and start heading inland as fast as possible, due to the fact that the spawn is arguably the most dangerous and most populated region on the island. I understand that depending on the Rust server, even that may be a challenge. My advice for you is to avoid farming, fighting, or anything else that involves you staying near the beach for a prolonged length of time. Instead, you can farm once you get to your build location and only fight when it's absolutely necessary. While you're running to your build location, make sure to be collecting cloth from the hemp plants as well as wood and stone pickups. Collecting these will let you have crafting materials without having to stop to farm trees and nodes. With the cloth, you can make a sleeping bag to place along the way. It'll essentially act as a checkpoint in case you die. That way, you won't have to run all the way back from the beach. After you get to your building location, figure out what kind of base you want and farm the necessary materials. For the sake of this video, I'll be using the classic 1x2 because I think it's the easiest for a beginner to build and I want you to be able to follow along. All you have to do is throw down 2 foundations, a couple of walls, an airlock, and a ceiling. Make sure to place the airlock at the tip of the shaft because it will help with base upgrading later. Once you have a base, you'll want to focus on getting a furnace, storage, and a workbench. To craft a furnace, you'll need to secure 50 low-grade fuel as well as some wood and stone. Low-grade fuel is found in red barrels, which are found on the road, or you can get low-grade from animal fat, which you farm off of animals. Once you have that done, start smelting metal ore because you'll need metal frags. Once you get 50 and a couple hundred wood, you can make a large storage box. These are important because you'll find that as you keep progressing, you'll be running out of space really quickly. While the rest of the metal frags are cooking, find 50 scraps so that you can craft a tier 1 workbench. The best places to find scrap is on the road in boxes and barrels as well as in monuments. Just break any barrels you see and then recycle any unneeded components for even more scrap. Finally, farm 500 wood and use the scrap and metal frags you already have to craft your level 1 workbench. Now that you have your first workbench, your next goals are to upgrade your base, get a tier 2 workbench, and finally, get guns. Sooner or later, you'll notice that you start to amass various junk and you'll want to expand your base so that you can have more storage. Upgrading your base depends on what you started with. In our situation, we'll upgrade our 1x2. Alright, to upgrade our 1x2, you'll want to first place 2 triangles coming off of the door like that, and then build out the 2 square foundations here. Then grab your walls and fill this in, put a new doorway here, triangles here and here, and then finish the ceiling. Then just upgrade. You can place a single door frame here, and then a wall frame here, upgrade, and then place your doors. In this new room you've created, you can place down a shelf, which you can also build on the other side. That way, Now you can have extra storage space, you can have boxes here, boxes up there, and then 4 large boxes here, and then 6 small boxes. And that's the easiest way to turn a 1x2 into a 2x2. To acquire more scrap, focus on doing blue card monuments like train yard, water treatment, and power plant. They have good mid-tier loot and aren't usually contested by higher geared players. If you'd like to see me make a guide on a particular monument, you can let me know in the comments and I will check them out. While doing those monuments, prioritize the actual puzzles, not only the crates that are spread around, since the puzzle rooms have a higher concentration of loot where you're most likely to find garage doors, important components, and most importantly, guns. Finally, the question about guns. In Rust, there are 2 ways to obtain guns, through PvP and through farming monuments. The PvP aspect is pretty straightforward, just shoot the guy. So we'll take a look at getting guns through doing monuments. The reason I advise against other monuments at this stage in the game is because the monuments that I mentioned usually only attract lesser geared players, and you won't have to fight people with mid-tier guns. Anyway, the guns that you're after will be in the green military crates. Those crates can spawn all of the tier 2 weapons as well as some useful blueprints. Don't forget that if you research an item and learn its blueprint, you can craft it later at your workbench. A rule that helped me out with PvPing when I first started playing Rust was what I call the Rust gun food chain rule. At the bottom of the food chain, the weakest players, are the weapons with no tier. These are hunting bows, spears, yokas, etc. Next are the tier 1 weapons, such as compound bows, double barrels, and revolvers. They can reliably take out the tier 2 weapons like SARS and Tommies. Finally, those tier 2 weapons can compete with the top of the food chain, the tier 3 weapons like AKs and LRs. Of course, these guidelines aren't set in stone and you can obviously take out someone who has an AK with a compound bow, but as a general rule, I follow this. Also, if you want to download this picture, the link's down below. I worked really hard on it and I think it's really cool. Don't be afraid to use the loot that you get. You aren't going to get better if you let it collect dust in your base, so go and use it. If you get someone, that's great. If you die, you can use that as a learning opportunity to get better next time and secure the kill. A quick building tip is to farm enough for a tool cupboard, a lock, and an upgraded foundation first. That way you can place down and lock your TC and stake your claim in that area. That way, if someone kills you while you're building your base, you won't lose the area that you want to build in. Finally, this is a little self-promo, but I've made a really helpful beginner guide which you can find in the top right corner now, as well as in the description. It covers tips ranging from PvP to building. The comments said that it's really helpful, so if you don't want to listen to me, listen to them at least. Before we end today's video, I want to thank today's sponsor, Mamamisi. Mamamisi is an incredibly talented YouTuber, Twitch streamer, and Reddit influencer. He makes great memes, top-notch streams, and most importantly, amazing videos. So, if you'd like to show support for the channel and to Mamamisi, consider subscribing and leaving likes on all of his videos, as well as, this is a really stupid bit. Alright, well, that's all I have for you in this video. I hope you learned something new and you enjoyed. If you did, you can feel free to drop a like, and if you'd like to see more content from me, you can subscribe. Also, if you'd like to share any feedback or criticism, you can do so in the comments section. I really like reading your guys' comments and responding. Also, like the sponsorship said, I do stream on Twitch, so if you'd like to catch me playing something live, the link to that is in the description. Finally, I have a really cool Discord server where I post announcements, memes, and other stuff. If you'd like to join, that's also in the description. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and don't fucking die.